Mauri, everyone. Welcome to the DHIS2 Administrator Training. In this session, we will learn about Users app. Users app is one of the key application or the key app in DHIS2 application overall. In this session, we will cover how can you create a user account, how can you modify one, how can you change the password for a user who has forgotten his password, how can you create different user roles for different purposes, and then we also have organization unit access. How can you limit organization unit access for the users? And lastly, we will also see user groups. How can you create user groups and what are the different benefits of user groups? Talking about user accounts, in this video we will see how do we create a user and how can we edit the user, setting up their name, their email addresses, their password. We can also enable and disable user accounts as and when required. We will also link users with a specific organization unit. Again, talking about organization unit is an facility. It could be an hospital, it could be an island, it could be it could be country. So anything which is a facility or a administrative unit is called organization unit in DHIS2, or now we call it KMIS. Assigning interface language. Through this, we could also change the language if required. Then we also have user roles. Now, what is a user role? User role is basically an authority channel. So before creating any user, you have to create certain user roles. For example, one user role we required for data entry purposes. So what we're going to do is, first we're going to create a user role saying data entry. In data entry, we will give certain permissions to this user role, such as access to capture app, access to data entry app. This person could also add, delete or modify any data. When I say any data, just the forms, those forms have been assigned to this person and not other than that. So with all these permissions and everything, we could define our different user roles. So I just gave you an example of data entry. The other example could be a data visualization officer or any other stakeholder for that matter. So you can create as many as user roles you want in the application. And once you have user roles in place, then you can assign those user roles to different users. So user roles will be single, but then with that user role, you can create as many as users you want. Then through which, yes, of course, we can give app access, which apps are visible. So not every user required all the apps in the application because it can be confusing for different users. So with the user roles, we can also limit what apps is only required. We can also define with this our data entry versus analytics roles. I just gave you an example of whether this user role is just for data entry or for data visualization. You can of course have a single user role as well, in which you can provide data entry and analytics as well. But yeah, that's the best part of user role. Assigning multiple roles to one user. Let's suppose we have separate user roles in the application, one for data entry, one for data visualization, one for dashboarding, one for any other thing. Now, if you want to create a user who would like to have all these facilities together, who can do data entry as well as data visualization as well as dashboard, of course, you can create a unique user role for that person as well. Or the alternative would be that you give the person all the user roles available within your application. So in that case also, the user will have all the permission. This will be more relevant when I'll show you in the application, but to just give you like a brief, I'm just showing it on a presentation. Org unit access. When you're creating a user, you have to define three level of organization unit. Well, we're just going to talk about two majorly here. One is data capture unit and the other one is data view unit or analytics. Data capture unit means, so whenever you're creating a user, you're creating a user for a specific health facility or a specific island. So you want that user to only see that specific island or facility or not more than that. So when you're defining a user, you have an option to choose which health facility or which island or which district this user belongs to or can capture data to. So you can select that specific district or island or health facility in the data capture unit. Then the second one is data view units, what user can see in analytics. Analytics means data visualization. By selecting an organization unit in data view units, you are basically providing the user access with data visualization. Now, your data capture unit could be different from data view unit. You might just want to give data entry access for one facility, but the viewing facility could be for, let's say, for another island as well, or for another health center as well. So you have an option to choose which one to, select. Then you also have search units, scope of tracker searches. The search units is basically relevant to the cases where we are using tracker module. Currently, we do not have as such tracker module, so we're not gonna push it on this. But yeah, just want to give it to you. Let's suppose if you have register a person in the application, and now if you are trying to find this person in the application, whether this person has already been registered or not. Now with the search units access, you can basically provide a user access with all the tracked entity instances which have been registered in the application. So let's suppose a person was registered at facility A, but now you have access to facility B where you are trying to search for this person. If you have access for the search unit for facility A as well, you will be able to search the person in facility A as well. It might be a little bit tricky to sound right now, but as soon as we get into the application, it will be quite easy. But again, we need to focus on first two units for now, data capture units. This means that specific user can capture data on those specific facility, whichever you are providing. Or if you are providing a root organ, then the person could only be able to capture data for the root organ as well as their child. Talking about your users group. User groups are very, very important in the application. They basically help you in controlled access level information. You could have user groups such as, let's say, for ANC, for PNC, for TB, and for other groups as well. So let's suppose if we have a TB division in our department, what we can do is all the users of that specific department can be part of this user group, and all the data relevant to just TB can be shared with this user group. The benefit of this group is that you do not need to specifically select each and individual users of TB. What you can do is simply create one user group, assign all the users in it, and then whenever you need to give access to anything such as dashboard of TB or anything for that matter, you can simply select the user group of TB and you can provide the access. And with this, the user will be able to access all the information. This is very much important for dashboards, datasets, and programs. Dashboards, of course, what is a dashboard. Datasets are basically the forms that we fill. Previously, they used to be MS1 forms. Now they are datasets in DHIS2. And programs are more case-based data, such as GBV program that we have in place for HIU, and for EHU we have other different programs as well. A user can belong to multiple user groups. Yes, absolutely. A user could be part of different program groups as well, and as and when required, you can just provide the access of the application to them. So that's an overview of the user app. Now let's just jump into the application and see what does it look like in the real world. Here we have the application. I have just logged into the application. Now all the app menu, all the apps are available with these 9 dots. So whenever you need to navigate into the application for anything, what you have to do is you have to come here on these 9 dots. You will click on this, click here, and then you can look for any app. So for now, I'm going to look for users. Okay. So this is my users app. I'm just going to click on it. And as soon as I click on this app, I will be inside the users app. Now what I see here is users, user roles, and user groups. These 3 things we just saw in the presentation. Now, as I mentioned in my presentation, even before creating a user, you must define a user role. Okay, whether you're creating a data entry user role, a visualization user role, or any other user role for that matter. By clicking on list button, you will be able to see the existing user roles basically. Now what we see here is we already have two user roles. One is super user and the other one is data entry visualization user role. Now super user is something that comes with the application by default. You can of course have it assigned to any of the user that you want to have access to the whole application. Super user will be able to make any changes, any upgradations, or anything in the application. So, when you are assigning super user to any of the user, you need to choose wisely. Okay, and then moving forward, we also have another role, data entry visualization MHMS. Okay, if I want to make any modifications in this, I can just click on these 3 9 dots, click on edit, and here we are. Okay, from here we could assign the different sort of permissions which are available in the applications. These are different sort of metadata attributes permissions that you can provide to this person. Let's suppose I'm just going to go down and see over here the available app authorities. This is important, right? Because from this you're basically assigned which app this user could have access to, right? There are different apps available, but we have just given this user specific apps which are required, like dashboard, capture, messaging, visualization, maps, and some other apps as well. So from here basically you are providing the different app access. From here, you are providing the tracker authorities. So this person could basically track any sort of data, can make changes in data, or can capture the data. Okay. We also can provide over here the available import export authorities. Okay. Whether this person would be able to export data from the application or import data in the application, we can also do that from here. And then we also have available system authorities, which means whether this person will be able to make modifications in the application. Remember, we have not given him the full authority, but yeah, it's just a sample user role. So you can see that we have given him a lot of authorities over here. And then just click and without save. Now, if you want to add a new user roles, what you have to do is just simply click on new and now give it a name. Let's say data entry. Okay, I've just given a data entry. Now from metadata authority, we can give him the user roles of different authorities, such as whether this person will be able to create category options, category attribute, dashboard, and things like that. Let's say I'm just giving him the dashboard. So data element as well, but data element is not required. Dashboard is still fine. Now coming here, from here we need to give him different app permissions. The first app that the person required is the dashboard, because that's the landing page. That's the landing page of the application. So as soon as you put your login details in the application, once you log in, this will be the first page that you log into. So if you do not have dashboard app in your user role, then this person might get a notification that you do not have certain permission to view in the application. So the first app that requires to be part of this user role needs to be dashboard app. Once you given him the dashboard, now we are creating a user for data entry. You need to give user the data entry app access. Okay, so that's the second app. The third app which is important is capture, because this user could also capture data of tracker. So we are also giving capture app access. And then you can also give access to, let's say, cache, browser cache cleaner app, because this is also important. I've just given him browser cache cleaner. So if there is any modification from the backend, the person would be able to clear the DHIS2 cache and can see the changes. So for now, I've just given this person, let's say, these 4 app access. Okay. Coming down, available tracker authority. If you want to give these different authorities, you can select from these. Import export metadata. I do not want to give them the import export data for now, so let's just move ahead. Available system authority. Here it is important to select some authorities, such as add update data value, because this person needs to add or update data value. Okay, so I'm going to give them this permission over here, add update data value. If you want to give more permissions to this user, you can of course select and do that. Uh, a documentation will be shared of all these different authorities and available options over here. So if you need to read more about these different options, you can go through with it just for a safer side. But yeah, for the demo, I'm just selecting add update data value and creating a role. Okay. Now, as you can see, we also have a data entry user role in the application. Now, when we have user roles in place, we will see how can we create different users, how can we change the password, how can we assign user roles to different users. Now to do so, I will just click on users back here, and then you can see a list of all the users that are available in the application. First, we will see if we need to change a password of the user, how can we do that? In terms of, let's say somebody comes to us that, I have forgotten my password, how do I do that? As simple as that, what you have to do is just simply click on these three dots and then click on edit button. When you click on edit button, you will be able to see all the details of this specific user, and then you have an option of change user password. It is disabled for now, but as soon as you click on change user password, these fields are now enabled. You type in the password, you type the same password, repeat again, and then you just simply click on save changes. Once you click on save changes, that user has a new password now that you can provide to the user simply. Okay. The second thing is status, active or disabled. If you want to disable this specific user, let's suppose this user is not active for, let's say, next 15 days. What you can do is simply disable this user. You have an option over here, disable. Just click on this and then this user will be disabled from the application. Of course, you can enable it back whenever it is required. But yeah, this is how basically you can do that. Now, coming back to the how can you create a user, how do you define the permissions, how do you do that, all of it. Click on new button. As soon as you click on it, a new option will be open to fill the form, a username. I'm just gonna say training. Okay, training user. If there's a user email available for this user, we're just gonna put it, and then we need to put the first name and then the last name. Interface language English, but their default language available. If you want to change, of course we do not need them, but yeah, they are available. So we are selecting English for now. Database language remain same, and then we need to put a new password. So I'm just gonna give, say, test@1234. The password needs to be a combination of 8 to 72 character with one uppercase character, one alphanumeric, one special character as well. So yeah, all these details are available on this section. So you can see the combination over here. I'm just gonna put my combination for now. And oh, okay, it says it does not match. Yeah, now it is. So I've just given the correct first here and then repeat over here. If this user is only being created for certain period of time, you can also put an account expiration date. It could be like for a week, it could be for one day, it could be for a month. So you can basically choose a specific date, let's say 27th. I'm just creating this user for 7 days. So now what happens? After 7 days, this user will automatically be disabled, okay, or expired. So I've filled the details such as username, first name, last name, and then password, and I've also put in a account expire date. Okay. Other information, these details I do not need to fill. Now I need to fill the contact details of this user. So if whatever details I have, let's say number, WhatsApp number, if I have any other information that I want to fill, I can simply fill it from here. Now, coming to here, the organization unit access that we talked about during our presentation. This is data capture and maintenance, which means through here I could define that this user will, where this user will be able to enter data. It could be a single health center, it could be a whole island, it could be something else as well. So let's suppose I'm just gonna select this island. Okay. So now what will happen? This user will have access to the all the facilities or organization unit from here to there, because this is root. Okay, I'm selecting a root. But if I just want to give access to, let's say, this specific health center, I can disable this. I would select this one. Okay, now whenever I'm going to log into this user, I will just have access to this facility only. Let's just select this one only for now. Okay, I've selected that. I've selected that in the data capture and maintenance. Now, the second tab asking us to select a organate for data output. As I mentioned during the presentation, the first one is for data capture, that this user will able to capture data for this facility, and the second one is for data output. This user will be able to capture, generate data for. So I'm gonna again select this, and I'm going to select the same facility for now. But if you want to give access to, let's say, this facility also, you can select both of the facility. Okay, but I'm not going to do that, just this facility. Search is, again, as I mentioned, this is for tracker. So if a person has been registered in, let's say, into this facility, let me open the hierarchy first. Yeah, let's say I have access to this facility, but if I want to search data in this facility also, I could do that now. Okay, I can give that. If you have any questions, you could please raise your hand. I'm there for you. Now coming here, from here we have to select the user roles that we have just created. So what we have created is this user role we have just created, data entry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select data entry from left to right, which means that I have selected this user role. Now when I log into this specific user that I'm creating, will only have access to all the features that are part of this user group. Okay, so on similar basis you can create as many as users you want. Then from available user groups, this we will come a little later, but yeah, for now I'm just gonna come down and then create user, and voila, now your user has been created. If I would like to look for this specific user, you can see here username training underscore user, display name training user, and the status is active. The last login is not shown yet because I have not logged in so far, but now let us just log out from the application and see if it works. I'm just gonna click on log out from here, and now I'm gonna log in with that. So the username was training underscore user and the password was test@1234 T with the caps. Gonna log in, not now, and you see now I have logged in the user in the application. Yes, so see, another change over here is restricted access. Why? Because this user is not have does not have access to all the organates, all the data that is presented on the dashboard. That's why it says restricted access. You do not have access to one or more of the chosen organization unit. But if you have access, you will be able to see this dashboard as well. Okay. But yeah, let's look at the apps. So if I click on that, I am only getting the apps which I have assigned to this user. We have given him cache, dashboard, user profile is a personal app through which he can change his own password or she can change her own password. We have capture app for tracker capture, and then we also given the data entry. Okay, so this is how basically you can create different users. Now if I would like to change the password of my user, what I have to do is again click on this, click on settings, and through settings I could see different settings of my user such as language, style, and things like that. To change the password, I need to go to account setting. We need to put the old password, so I'm going to type in the old password here, and now I need to type in the new password. So I just did that. I need to type in the new password again and then just update password. It is now done. Password changed successfully. Okay, now it needs to be log out again, and now you can basically simply log into it by that. Training user, test 1 2 3 4 5. So you see, now I have been able to log in with the application with my new password altogether. Okay, so this is how our user is created, a user role is created. Now I'm gonna log out from here and let's just see a little bit on user groups as well. So logging out and I'm gonna log in with my admin user. Okay, so now I'm again gonna go back to users app, and here I have again user roles and user groups. So we have seen users, we have seen user roles, and now we will see user groups. So I'm going to click on list. Now as you can see, I've already created two different user roles. One is for EHU, one is for MS1 or HIU. Um, all the users of MS1 or HIU is part of this group, and same as for EHU. The benefit of user group, as I mentioned, let's suppose as an administrator, if I'm creating any dashboard for HIU or EHU, I could share those dashboard by just selecting these user groups, and let's suppose if a dashboard is being created for EHU, and if I share the dashboard with EHU only, EHU group, then all the group members of EHU will be able to see the dashboard. Now to add a new user group, just click on new. Let's suppose I'm again creating a new user group for HIU. I'm just giving it a name, and from here I could choose who's going to be part of this specific HIU user group. So I'm going to select few of them. Let's say this, okay, Kamakami, this, next page, this, this, and then you can click on, basically there are different options to add to the group. You can select multiple and then click on add 4 users, or you can just click on add to group and it will be created like this. Okay, so you can choose like that, choose like that, next page, choose like that, choose like that. Okay, and then it will be created. So once you have selected all of it, just create group and then your new group will be available. The benefit of the user group will be, let me show you, but before that let me just clear my browser cache once. Okay, select all, clear all selected cache, dashboard. Why I'm doing this, why I clear my cache, because on the same tab I'm logging in with different users. So sometimes what could happen, I might not be able to see different options for different users. So whenever you log in with different users on the same browser, on the same session, you just clear the browser cache and you will be able to see that. Now let's suppose I have this dashboard and I want to share this with all the HIU users. What I can do, simply click on share button and I could click HIU. So you see I have just got this group, choose level, view and edit, or view only, give access. So now HIU user group has access to this, which means that all the users of HIU group will be able to see this, this dashboard basically. So this is one of the benefit of user group. Just wanted to give you like a brief of how can you do that simply. Okay. Thank you. So this was all about how do you create a user, how do you change your password, how do you create a user role, how can you create user groups, and what are the benefits of user groups, right? Now, of course, we have an exercise to do during the second half in which we're going to create a user group, a user, and of course, a user role as well. Okay. So that is for second half. But for this session, yeah, this was the information that I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, any doubt, please, I'm here. Raise your hands and let me know. Thank you.